Okay, so in this video we're going to run through a little bit of the progress bar. So we're going to talk a little bit first in Photoshop, and then we're going to move into Unreal, and we're going to start getting some of this stuff set up. So first of all, if I just move into Photoshop, and I'll drag this over so you guys can see it. So I've just made a bar here, which is obviously going to be full, and then underneath it I've got an empty copy. So just to kind of run through like real quick how I made that. I know some people have been struggling a little bit with Photoshop. I've been like very lazy with this, and I've just used the custom shape tool. So the custom shape tool is down here. So I've just used a rounded rectangle for it. You can see the shortcuts U on the keyboard. So from here, all I did was just click and drag this progress bar out. So mine at the minute is set to like automatically full with orange, which is fine because we're going to use like some layer effects to sort this out in a bit. So from there, all I've done is I've just renamed it. So we'll call it progress bar. And now from here, all you do is come to your layers panel and double click. And this is the method that I use anyway. So this is the handiest way I find to get into layer effects. What you'll find, most things in Photoshop have like 2 or 3 different ways in. It's kind of like Unreal. So just find a way that works for you, and that'll be fine. So from here now, I kind of want to make this stick out a little bit more in my game. So I want to put on a stroke. So for my stroke settings, I've gone with like 8, and I've gone with outside. If you have that set to inside, I'm not really too keen on it because it makes the bar smaller. So I've set that to be outside. You could set it to be center if you want, which will put like half the stroke on the inside, half on the outside. Obviously, you can experiment with the opacity and stuff if you want, and I'm quite happy with it to have like the color black. From there as well, the next thing I want to do is I want to put like a gradient overlay on this. So you can do like a color overlay, which means it'll replace it with like another color, which is really handy if you're doing like your hover buttons and stuff like that. But I'm going to do a gradient overlay, and I've already set up this gradient here, which will go from red up to green. If you want to change your gradient, you can click here. There's loads of different ones I have. So we could set it to this one. If you want to add in extra colors, you just click on the gradient button. You can shift where they appear, and then you can shift how rapid the change is in them as well. So this could be a much more detailed bar than what we're using if we wanted. So at the minute I'm going to go with my normal one. I've set the angle to be 0. You might find on yours it could be set to 90 to begin with, but I want to set it to 0 because I know that my bar, I want to drain from right to left, like traditional conventions, or sorry, left to right. So from there, the next thing I want to do is add like a little bit of an outer glow to it, which is going to be a little bit hard to see on this. And then we want to do like a drop shadow as well. And then obviously with the drop shadow, there's loads of different things we can do. We can change like the distance of it. We can change what color it is and stuff like that. So now what we need to do is get this bar, and we want to make another copy of it directly underneath, and we want that to be totally empty. So the way that I do that is I just find it easiest to duplicate this layer. So you can right click, you can choose duplicate layer here, or you can push Control and J on your keyboard. So I'm just going to turn off these other layers. So now all we can see is that top layer. So Unreal's a little bit weird. It likes kind of the image underneath to look exactly the same, and then it just blends between the two of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a solid layer because I want to just get rid of this stuff on the inside. And the way that I can do that is, first of all, I'm going to turn off the gradient overlay because it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to select. I'm going to right click on my layer. I'm going to choose rasterize layer style, which is it means it's not going to be editable anymore. So don't do this unless you're 100% sure that you don't want to be able to come in and change these. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rasterize this layer itself. Oh, it's already done it for me. So now, if I come up here, 4th tool down, and I can click and hold, I can grab the quick select tool. I just want to grab the orange inside that and hit delete. So now what's happened is, if I move this back up in the layers panel, I've got my full bar on top, And then underneath, I've got like a transparent version of that bar. And what we're going to do in Unreal is get it set up that the two of these kind of blend together into one. So from there, we're going to want to save them. So I've got like, these are ones that I've kind of pre-made before. So from here, we want to go File, Export. Sorry, File, Save is fine. You can do a quick export as a PNG, but I'm going to go File. I'm going to go Save As. I'm already in like my place where I save my stuff, so I'll go to PNG. I'm going to call progress normal _ normal. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn this off. Oh, apologies about absolutely deafening you because this appeared on my other screen. So I'm okay with this. Like this isn't a massive file, so I'm okay with it being a large file size. From there now, I'm going to turn that off and turn on the visibility of my bottom one, which is going to be my empty one. And I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to choose PNG again. Only say this time I'm going to call it progress _ empty. Now what, save. And make sure that I don't deafen all you guys with that. So from here now we want to import these into Unreal. So if we pop back into Unreal, obviously this is where I've been saving my stuff. You can be a little bit more organized and kind of have like nice folders and stuff like that. So now I just need to find where I saved those files. So I know I put them on my OneDrive. I put them inside Game Interface. So now we can just drag and drop these in. So empty and normal are the ones we're looking for. Drag and drop them in. And there they are there. Okay. So next thing we want to do is we want to actually just make this UI and make this HUD. So from there, we're going to right click, user interface, widget blueprint, UI _ HUD is what we're going to call it. And then we're going to double click to work on it. So similar to what we've done before, we're going to use the palette panel up here, but this time we want to add in a progress bar. Drag that in. So progress bar has like different settings from buttons, and the main one being that it will read a value between 0 and 1 and it'll kind of fade it down. So just to show that we're kind of working, you can see here our progress here is set to 0 at the minute. If I turn that up, you can see it gradually fills up. We can change the settings, so at the minute it's left to right. We can change it to right to left if we want. We can fill it from the center, which is a little bit weird, but it'll fill out like that. We do top to bottom or bottom to the top. So that would be if you have like a vertical bar that you want to kind of fill up as it goes along. But we know that left to right is what we kind of want to use for this one. So here, similar to the buttons, is we've got image settings that we can use for this bar. Okay, so what I can do now is I can click here and I can find, so this is like the style, and now we're inside it. So there's a background image, full image, marquee image. So we can kind of come in and we can find our progress normal. And then for our fill, so you notice now the fill's kind of being overridden because we haven't assigned a file to it. So it's kind of similar to what happened with the buttons before. So I've actually set these up in the wrong way. So we'll go back in and we'll go progress empty. And then the other one, we're going to go with progress fill. Or sorry, progress normal, I should say. Now you notice it's still giving this like weird overlay on top of what we've already got in there. So it's still actually like it's still tinting it itself. And that's just because of this setting here. So we can now overlay like a different color on top of it. So this is the fill color and opacity. So we can say that, oh, by the way, we want it to, be green, or we want it to blue, and that'll kind of update as we go through. And you can obviously change it, so you can have it all as black. You can have it all as red, whatever. So that's quite handy in that it can help you kind of modify settings as you're going through. So if you bring in your progress bar and you're not 100% happy with it, you can add like a tint to it. What I find works best is if I come in here and I set it to be white. Basically, it's going to overlay white on top of my graphics, which means I'm not going to be able to see it, so it's fine. So I just set that to 1. So the RGB now is 1, 1, 1, and the alpha is 1. So if I turn down the alpha, you can see it's gradually kind of fading it out. So that would be if you wanted to, you can affect this via scripting and stuff as well. So this is all kind of scriptable, so we can actually modify this as we go through. But for now, that kind of works fine. So just to kind of recap, we've got our background image, which is our empty version of the bar. We've got our full image. Then we've got our percentage, which is what we're going to end up binding. And then we've got the bar going a full left to right. So now we need to make this appear on screen. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift this and then I'm going to anchor it. I'll anchor it to the top middle of the screen. Looks fine. And now, so I'm in the first person example map. We need to tell this character to show this UI. So there's two ways we can do this. We can do it in the level blueprint, or we can do it inside the character blueprint. Honestly, it doesn't really matter which one we do for now, just for this type of project. So we're going to go open level blueprint. On event, begin play. We're going to create a widget. We know it's going to be UI HUD. We're going to add it to the viewport. And then we're going to connect that. And now you see we've got it on screen. So that's just real quickly how we can get it up and running. So it's something to kind of pay a little bit of attention to whenever you guys are working inside Photoshop and you're planning out these kind of graphics. Like think about what the full element will look like versus what the empty element will look like. And then we can obviously fade between the two of them. And then real quickly, we just got it displayed on screen. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into the graph editor for here. We're going to get this actually linked to like the health of the character. And then we'll do some scripting where we can simulate it going down.